everyone. Today we are very fortunate to have Mr. Calvin together with us, and together we have a special VIP just on the side. His name is Mr. Chin as well. And Mr. Calvin has been in the training industry for 20 plus years, and same with the Mr. Chin. And they combine, it's a 40 plus years of experience together. And now today, Mr. Calvin will going to share with us a lot of things what we could do differently, how we are able to overcome a common mistake or struggle people have experienced. And you may want to prepare pen and pencil so that you're able to make now the notes, or you can use your handphone to snap the things. All the recording will be available, will be posted online later on. Now, I pass the floor to Mr. Calvin. Yay!
All right, thank you and very good morning to all of you. My name is Calvin, as Ty mentioned, and yes, I have been conducting training for more than 20 over years. Now today, my sharing with you is something that I commonly see and also get questions from my students and clients. What happened is that they always do a lot of copy and pasting. So I just want to come up with some strategy how they can make life easier for them using some formulas. Now it's going to be a little bit complex, a lot for you to understand. However, I hope you can follow. I have half an hour to showcase this. At the end of the day, I'm going to show you something new, which is available in Office 365. If any one of you here are using Office 365, you are free to use those functions. But if you are not, then I will show you the common way of doing this. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, so a little bit of information what you are going to do today. So if you look at my screen now, what's happening is that I have a set of database on my left, starting from B to column I. Now the thing is, normally in this situation, the result we want is in a different worksheet, but because of this demo, I put them side by side. So this is what I'm going to do. If I want to look for the database in this, look for a database of my client, and I remember that my client names has something called resources. I go to this L4 and I start to type here, resources. When I do that, the list of company that have the word resources will appear in my report. So I can use this, and I can use this information now to prepare my other reports. At the same time, I just want to counter check. So I'm using conditional formatting to check all those with the word resources, they are being highlighted here. Okay, so this is probably just for checking purpose whether these are the item or not. So a few things that we're going to talk about. So the key and the star of this particular technique that I'm going to show you is the search function. Okay, the search function. Just a little bit of introduction of this search function. So I'm going to ask Excel, can you please take this L4, the word resources, and start looking inside here and check for me whether it's there or not. So if I do this, say equals to search, I want them to look for the word resources, right? So I put L4, and I want them to look inside D4. Now, if I do that, when I press enter, it will come back with no result. Okay, but if I put this to where is this? This is in D17. So I change this to D17. Okay, let me just zoom in a little bit. So I changed my formula a little bit. D17. Then the result come back with 16. Now, what do they mean by 16? Basically, the 16 actually means, okay, let me just scroll to my left. The word resources are, starting from the first character, R, is actually character number 16. So if you count from the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, including the space, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 is the 16th character in the cell, D17. So you must be thinking, how is this going to help me? Now, I am not actually very interested in the position of the particular word resources. So I just want to know whether they exist or not. So it's not important to know the character, but it gives us another information. When they give me a number, that means this particular word resources is available inside that particular cell. So I'm going to use the function called search for this. Now, where am I going to write the function? I'm going to write the function right at the corner here, over here. So you have seen the result just now. So now let's move into the demo. How am I going to build this from scratch? So I'm going to go to the demo. Now I have the word house. I have the word house here, and I want to find out which of this content here actually has a word house. And if they have, like this one is the first one, don't have. This one, second one, don't have. But the third one, they have the word house. So I want this one to be the first item in my database that has the word house. So I want it to be number 1 here. So if I go down further, I'm looking for, oh, there's another house here. So I want this to be number 2. So I have to think of a strategy now. How can I number the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 using this function? So there's a lot of things to think about. Right. First of all, we need to check whether this particular cell contains the word house. So I'm going to write what I showed you just now, equals to search. Okay, search. Then I will use the word L4. So I'm going to lock it. I'm going to lock the L4, comma, and start searching inside D4. Right. So I close my bracket, enter. Now it comes back with value, but those who has the word house will have a number. All right. So we know now which of the row actually has number. But I want to make it a little bit nicer. I don't want to see all these errors. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to change this information into a true false situation. So I go to my formula again. So I go to this formula again. Okay, let me just zoom in a little bit. So I go to this formula again. I put there is number. So another function is introduced, is number. Okay, let's look at the formula bar here, and I close bracket again. So now it's showing me false. False simply means no, it's not there. Now I have put a link at B1 to show you the formula. So you don't really need to squeeze your eyes to look at this. You look at this formula that I'm writing here so far. Okay, so now that I know that those with the word house is true, what can I do with it? So I want to have a numbering, like I mentioned just now. I want to have a numbering. So I'm going to go up here now. I'm going to include a little bit of item in my formula now. So I'm going to put here, if search is a number, then I'm going to use the function called max. So max simply means the highest number in that particular range. So I'm going to tell them, okay, let's start looking at B3 all the way to B3. So if I'm going to ask them to look for B3 to B3, it's only one cell there, so it will not give me any number. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click in the first B3 that I have here. So first B3, I'm going to press function key F4 to lock the first B3. When I lock the first B3 won't move, but the second B3, if I were to copy down, you'll go to B4, B5, B6, B7, and so on. So once I've done that, they will start finding what is the highest number that is available there. So find out that and do a +1. +1. Then if it's not, then put 0. Right. So the trick here is the logical test says if it is a number, yes, then you find the highest number that you can find, then you +1. If not, 0. So if I press enter now, I get 0. So now they're actually searching for B3 and B3. But if I copy it down now, then this one will be B3 to B4. So the highest number is 0. Right? But so far, there are no solution here. So it's 0. So the third one, yes, there's a solution. So the highest number from here to here is 0. So 0 + 1, you get 1. So now, because I already have the 1, 2, 3 in my list, okay, 1, then 2, then I have the 3, then 4, then I will be able to use this information and apply it onto this. So this is going to be my index number. So I tell them, okay, for the first row, I want you to look for number 1. The second row, I want you to look for number 2. So I'm going to write a Vlookup formula here. Now, Vlookup is of no stranger to anyone, right? This Vlookup is something that is very, very familiar to all of you. So maybe I'll just write the formula here like equals to Vlookup. Equals to Vlookup. I'm going to tell them, please look up a certain value. I'm looking for number 1. Now, if I type 1 now, then if I copy it down, it will still be 1. So I don't want to do that. Now, I want to introduce another function that will be able to help you put a sequential number. So I'm going to use something called rows, R-O-W-S, the one with the S. And I'm going to tell them that, okay, let's look at J. Okay, I'm going to tell them J9 to J9, a close bracket. However, I need to lock the first J9 so that when they actually copy the formula down, then it will be J9 to J10. Then they will count how many rows are there in this selection. So this is the purpose. So if you look at it now, if I highlight this and I press F9, you tell me it's 1. Okay. So later I'll show you if I copy it down, then you will show there's 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. So I already tell them that please look for number 1 in where? In this table. In this table. So I'm going to highlight this table using my keyboard shortcut and I lock it. Right? So you see the formula says B3 to I33. Right? So I'm going to put a comma. So the information that I'm looking for is number, NO. So NO is actually the second column in this case. So I'm going to put 2, comma, then I put 0 to look for the exact match. Now, I can always use false for exact match, close bracket. So if I do that, I can get 3, right? So that's the third, number 3 here, third. Then I copy down, I'll get the rest, right? So this one, if you look carefully, right? If you look carefully, it's actually, okay, let me just click here. You see, it's actually row J9 to J10. So how many rows are there? There are 2. So they are looking for 2. So let me just show you the formula. Now this formula is not the best formula so far. It will only be able to find the number for you. But I need to have company name, customer, quarter, exactly like the other side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to improvise this formula a little bit. I'm going to go into the formula. Instead of 2, now I'm going to use columns. Columns. So what happened now, I need to tell them from which column to which column. So I'm going to start with here. Start with here. So I'm going to say B2 to B2. Now, close bracket. And what is going to happen now is I'm going to make it lock. So when I do that, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6. Okay. So let's see whether I'm getting the correct answer or not. Now, if I do that, it will always be showing me number 1, which is now I'm going to get 1. Right, but that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for this. I'm looking for this. Therefore, I'm looking for the second column. So therefore, in my formula, the columns, I must plus 1. They found 1, then I plus 1. So I get back my number. So the good news here now, okay, you look at it, I plus 1 at the back here. The good news here is when I copy this over, I'll get the rest of the information, and I copy this down, I have the rest of the information. Right? So that's how this is done. Now I need to get rid of all these error messages. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add another formula at the back here. Right? So at the front here, I'm going to click here, if error. So I'm telling you, if the Vlookup produces an error, then leave it empty. Open and close quote. Right? So you look at my formula here. Okay, let me just extend this a little bit. Yeah. So you see, I say that if the Vlookup produce an error, then don't show me anything. Just leave it empty. So now I'm going to do this again, highlight this and copy it down. Yeah, they are empty now. So I made it all the way to row number 25. So the formulas are there, but they are not showing me anything. Right? They only show me what I want. So if I type here solutions, so they give me all the company has the solution. So no longer need to do all the filter, all the sorting, then copy, then paste somewhere else. So you don't really need to do this over and over again every other month or every other day when you need certain information. Now you can just type this, right? For example, trade. So I'm looking for all the company that contains the words trade. But of course, if you know the full name, that will be better. But I'm using specifically the company name because I know none of us can actually remember the exact spelling of your client's company. You might put in some mistake or some wording, some spelling error, so you won't find what you want. But if you can remember, oh, the company name, some resources lah. So I just type here, resources, and I'll get what I want. Right? So these are the two functions that I actually want to show you. Number one is the is number and search. So is number and search is basically the host of this particular technique. The rest of them are just a supplementary kind of a feature to help me get what I want. So I'm planning to get all this number out. Therefore, when with the number, now I can do the VLOOKUP. So you just imagine if this particular whole information is not in the same worksheet, it's in a different worksheet. You don't have to do the filtering on one worksheet, copy, then go to another worksheet and paste them. You don't need that. Now, the actual scenario is basically I'm helping a company to create something called statement of account. Statement of account. So this company has a huge database, and what they do is they always like filter, copy, and paste it into another spreadsheet where they have their statement of account, how much they are owing. So it's like they don't need all of it. Now I'm showing you all the column, but if let's say you are not interested in column number 4, number 5, you can always ignore them because because this is just a demo. I show you everything that is available, right? So this is just a little bit of technique that you can use to create this. All right, so now I'm going to unshare for a while. I got another technique that I want to show you, but I just want to know how you feel about this particular technique that I show you. Ty?
Hi everyone. I believe all of you are a little bit overwhelmed with so many things, so many information. And if let's say you are unable to comprehend, just like my advice, take it like a sci-fi movie, science fiction movie. You don't know what's happening, but you know something is there, and you know who to look for. So that's the best thing of it. And what Calvin has mentioned is about this is only one of the usage. But I can invite about 20 minutes. Calvin will be enough to have about 5 minutes to show using the conditional formatting to highlight the rows.
Yeah. I just want to know how people are catching up with me in this all. All right, so I just go back to the file again. Now, how am I going to do this is I'm going to highlight, like I want to color it, right? I want to color it. So I'm still going to use that is number and search thing to do this. Now, my active cell at the moment is B4. So if I were to set a conditional formatting is for the cell B4. So this time I'm going to write new rule. Okay, I'm not going to use any of those existing rule that you can find here. All these are those presets. I'm going to use a new rule. From the new rule, I'm going to write a formula that will help me find out whether or not they are there. So again, I'm going to write that same thing that you see here, is number, open bracket. Then I will check search. Okay, search, open bracket. I'll tell them, please go to this L4. Now, L4 has to be locked because we are going to spread this condition to all the cell in this particular range that I highlighted behind here, right? So where do I want them to search? I want them to search now. Since I am in row B4, then I must tell them to look inside D4. If you look at this screen here, D4, okay, let me just see if I can zoom in, right, D4. Now, I'm not going to lock the both D4, but I'm just going to lock the D. So I'm going to remove the dollar for the 4. Now this is because when I want them to move down, I want them to go to D5, D6, D7, D8. But when I want them to go from left to right, I just want them to maintain in column D because the company name is in column D. So I'm just going to lock the column D. Now, I'm going to close 2 brackets. 1 bracket for the search, another bracket for the is number. So if I'm going to click the color now, so you say if this is true, okay, then make it green, light green. So when I hit OK, all those with the word resources will be colored. You see that? There are 3 of them, so 3 of them colored. So if I go to this and change it to house, then all those with the word house in their name will be calculated. Huh? Okay, let me show you the formula that I have written again. This one, oh, sorry, I must click inside here. Okay, this one. So let me just copy this out. Huh? Basically, it's the same one that I showed you earlier, but just to tell you how it looks like. Now, why I'm looking at this is because just now when I highlighted the whole range, I started with B4. So that's why it's 4. If you highlighted it differently, right, you highlighted starting from the bottom, then your checking is supposed to be D33 because you are in row number 33. But because I highlighted from top to bottom, like this, then my active cell is in B4, therefore I'm looking at D4. So let me show you again the formula. So this is how they look like. Like I told you, the star of this particular feature that I'm showing you today in this half an hour is basically just to introduce the search and is number function, which is very, very powerful in giving us a lot of information, but we are not using the information. We are just asking them to help us identify which are the cell that contains that particular word. So our flexibility now is I just have to go to L4, put in some keywords, and then they will look for it for us, right? So that's how we format the cell. Okay. So Ty, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Calvin. Thank you, thank you. We have a lot of hilarious people in the room. One of them is CV. CV mentioned he used up all the breakfast. Wow, heavy brain power.
Well,
Okay.
you can always sign up and learn slowly, partly. So I'm just giving you an idea. These are some of those things that my client has been asking me, my student has been asking me, if there is a solution rather than me repeating the whole process over and over again every other day, every other week, you know, when they want to pull out some data. So, and they do not want to use macro. So I said, oh, okay, no macro. And there's another feature called advanced filter. They are not interested because it's too many steps. So they just want to build one time, just put some keyword, they got what they want. So, okay, I'll just give you this situation, but you just have to build it, don't touch it anymore, just type in the keyword. Now, for those of you who are using Office 365 subscription, I have a good news for you, all right? Can I share, Ty?
Yes, please, please.
So I'm going to use another item here. See it here, demo for Office 365. Now it's going to look exactly like the same, but I don't have to build so many things like just now. So if I type in here trade, T-R-A-D-E, I can get what I want immediately. You notice there's no index column, okay? And there are no Vlookup. You see, if I click down here, there's no formula. So I'm going to remove all this, Now, please note, this particular thing that I'm showing you, it's only available, right? Sorry, let me just, it's only available in Office 365 and above. So the function that I'm using is called filter. Filter. So I need to tell them where I want the data to come from. So I have to tell them it's C4 to I33. C4 to I33. And do you notice that it's the same old thing again? Is number and search. Okay, is number and search. So I'm going to show you again. It's a lot easier this time. Okay, equals to filter. So the array that I'm going to look for is this array until 33. Yep. So I have no idea how can I show you bigger. Okay, I'll show you the whole full formula again later. Now, after you have mentioned the array, so now you have to tell them what is it that you want to include. So the include is whether it's true or false. If yes, they can match, they'll get it. If no, they won't get it. So I'm going to use the is number to help me, is number. Then I'll use the search. So what is it that I want to search? Again, L4. So I'm going to lock this L4. I'm not going to move it, L4, comma, and I want to find this within the text. So I'm going to highlight B4 all the way down to D13. All right, again, actually I don't have to lock it, but I'm still going to lock it. Okay, I'm going to lock it, comma, no need comma, sorry, close bracket. So this is another close bracket. So what happened now is I have C4 to I33, the whole range. What is it that I want to pick up? So if I want to pick up everything, then I will do C4 to I33. But if I only want to pick up until column F, then I'll just put C4 to F33. That means they will ignore G, H, and I. But I'm going to pull out everything. Then include what? Whatever that can match the word trade in this column, right? So what happens if they are no match? So at the back here, at the back of this formula, I'm just going to say leave it empty. So double quote again, right? So I press enter. So that's the formula, and I get this. Do you notice that the whole process now is shortened to like just a few seconds instead of like writing so many formulas? You were saying that it's, wow, that's overwhelmed just now. But now, think about this formula. It's a lot shorter and a lot easier, right? So I hope you already have your pen and pencil to write it down, or you use a phone to snap it. Then you can study this formula at your own time, right? So the function is called filter. You notice that in Excel is a very, very awesome feature. They can do one thing, right? You want to do one thing and there are so many ways to do it. And just by a little bit of tweak, you can get the answer. So yeah, it's like a never ending learning in Microsoft Excel. Okay, hope you have got this already.
Yes, thank you. And okay, and just for information, what Calvin is using is so-called insider edition. That means it's not available for the general public yet.
It's already available.
So, oh, that means I need to update my version. I'm using Excel 365 as well and Professional Plus. Because my one is I only update every 6 months. So every 6 months you will get an update. So I will be delayed. So the intention is so that I'm able to much more stable without much more of the things.
What you
and now we are approaching the timing.
What you mentioned just now is 3 months ago. I check it and it's there. That's why I'm sharing it with all of you.
Okay. I just checked. My one has not updated yet. Maybe I need to update. Okay. And just to share with you what are the things you could do, and I received some of the question. Anne has asked, is it okay to have a summary what we have learned at the end of the Zoom session? I would love to have those things. And just for information, these all things will be uploaded in the Facebook. And one Excel Facebook, I'm able to get all those things. And what else? And Ramza, he say it's updating now. It's all been updated. Awesome, awesome. And at the same time, I have a small things to share with you. So what are the things you could do differently when you go back to your work? So this is a small things you could do. So this is, let me share the screen. Okay, this is called Excel and report conversation. So it's pretty much on the reporting. There are a lot of ways of doing reportings. So if let's say you are the, you've seen the BNI members Malaysia, the power of run reports. I use the techniques I'm going to share in this conversation to many of us. So the very first one, the very first one will be how we are able to present or to come up a PDF file, which looks like from a Word document. Sometimes the Word document has a cover, it has a middle section, it has an end section. We're able to have those things. It's just like the Word document from Excel file alone. So that means you are able to come up with report super easy. It looks very pro. And the second thing you are going to learn how you are able to effortlessly to update your reports. And all these methods able to support up as old as Excel 2007. So you're able to work the method backwards. So it means you're much more greater flexibility in using the methods you are learning in here. And the third thing you are able to do something what Calvin has mentioned about the conditional formatting. Besides that, we are using Excel for reporting for the tracking and monitoring. We're able to learn a simple way, easy for you to remember, you're able to apply, even though you're using Google Sheet, it's the same method. And the fourth one, how you are able to play with your data to come out the report you want. So these are the things you want. Sometimes you're not quite sure what the boss wants. Sometimes the boss wants A, then B, then C. It's the best way. If let's say you're the boss of your own, you want to learn this method so that you're able to play with your data without having a delay and asking your team to provide the report for you. And the fifth one, you're able to come up with very simple chart. What we have covered in the previous session is a little bit about data storytelling. I give you a bit strategies, how you're able to come up with the chart it meets your need. So this whole thing will be covered in each session. You'll be covered in about 90 minutes, and each of them will have a different section, and it's okay for a beginner of Excel user. So that means you are able to learn and apply immediately on the spot. And the best thing of all, after all this session, you're able to have a group coaching. Yes, group coaching will be with one of the VIPs here. They'll be having like assist you how you're able to make full use of your reports and make it super easy for you. That's the intention, even though no matter what Excel version you're using. So this is the whole thing. And you want to know more information about Excel report conversation, please contact us and contact me. It's via WhatsApp or using a Facebook. You're able to find us there, so you're able to see how we're able to get this thing rolling during the MCO period. So each timing will be about 90 minutes. We will schedule at the evening so that it doesn't have a competing priority with your existing work. It must make much more sense. You are able to develop yourself towards the end of the MCO. Your report is super easy. That's the intention. And thank you everyone. And we will upload this video. If you have any question, please type it in the chat. I think I see one chat coming in. Let's see who is this. Let me see. Where's the chat? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the video after. Forgot the video. Okay. Yeah. Yes, the video is be uploaded at the end of the session. You are able to see the whole thing as a replay in a slow motion as the pace you prefer. And any more questions? Final question, you can use a Q&A. You can ask a VIP here since he is here. Only once, only twice. Yes, thank you. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. And remember to come back tomorrow. We'll have a more exciting topic, and we are inviting different VIP to share. Let's see, we have one Q&A. Awesome, yes. Awesome, Calvin. Yes, it's from Peter. And now we are coming to the end, and thank you, Calvin, and thank you, Mr. Chin, to come in to accompany us. And if you have specific situation you want us to use as a case study here, please let me know so that we're able to schedule to have it the whole thing complete within 30 minutes. And thank you, everyone, and stay home, stay safe, have an awesome week ahead, and bye.